he lies at the gate begging, but is ignored. And to the point that when they die, the tables are switched, and the poor rich man says, go warn the brothers. He says, warn the brothers, but they can't even be warned. Why? Because he wants the people to realize that God has provided everything that people already need in order to succeed. Oh God, I need you to act like you know the truth, act like you know his word. He says, I sent Moses. He says, I sent Moses, and Moses is representative of the law. What is the law? Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind, for this is the first and great commandment. And the second is like it. It's like it. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. He says they have the law, but not only do they have the law, but they have the preached word. They have the preached word. They have the pastor, and they have the assistant pastor. They have the Sunday school teacher. They have the Bible study leader. They have grandma, and they have mom and dad and brother and sister, and the word is being preached. He says, but if they don't have the ear to hear the law of the Lord that says love someone like you love yourself, and if they don't have the ear of the Lord to receive his preached word and his teaching enough to walk correctly when he corrects you, then what makes you think some googly goblin walking back from the dead will cause them to trust God? I want you to begin to realize that you've got to know him. About to take my seat, but you've got to see this connection with Matthew 25, verse 34. Oftentimes we become involved in relationships. Right. We become involved in relationships. And the goal in relationships is to get to know the individual we are in a relationship with. Oh, Lord, let me help you. The goal, if you're in a relationship, you're trying to get to know the individual you're in a relationship with. Come on, stick with me, and I'm about to bless you. And he wants to know who knows me, is what he wants to know. Who knows me? And when you're in a relationship, there are three things, three dispensations of time, really, that goes along with this relationship. He wants to know, do you know the past? Do you know the history of the person that you're in relationship with? Do you know the history? Number two, he wants to know, do you know the present? Do you recognize the face that you see on a regular basis when you interact with him on a daily basis? The present. Do you know the present of the person that you're dealing with? And not only do you know the present, but do you know the future? Do you know the potential? Help somebody of the person that you're dealing with. And if you are not able to say you know about the history and about the present or the future of a person, you don't know the person you're in relationship with. Somebody say, act like you know. Behave according to what you have been taught. God wants us to begin to conceptualize that. In the 25th chapter, the king begins to say, he says, come on, you get a reward from me. Why? He says, because you acted like you knew me. He says, you behaved according to what you have been taught. He said, when you saw me hungry, you gave me some fried chicken with some yams. He said, when you saw me thirsty, he said, you took the church Kool-Aid, opened up a can of pineapple juice, poured some ginger ale in it, put some red Kool-Aid mix, and you gave me something to drink. He said, when I was naked, you opened up the clothes closet, you took out a jacket, gave me some shoes, gave me a belt, and you clothed me. He says, you did this to the least. Thus you did it to me. Somebody say, act like you know. He says, do you know me? Do you know me? They said, well, Lord, when did we do this for you? And he said, when you did it to poor Lazarus, you did it for me. He said, when you did it for the person infected with AIDS, you did it for me. When you did it for the person that was homeless, say act like you know. In order to know. Sit down. Just give me 2 more minutes. In order to know. In order to know someone, you've got to know the past and history. You got to know their present and you've got to know their future. And if you're in a relationship with somebody right now and you don't know nothing about their past, that's funny business. If the present person you know is one way on Mondays and Wednesdays and another way on Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's funny business. If the person you're in a relationship with now, you don't know what they got going on in the future. They ain't thinking about the future, ain't thinking about what they're going to do with their lives. That's funny business. If you really know somebody, you know about their history, their present, and their future. Somebody say act like you know.